Reisner, I got contact with him after I'd been there about 3 months, and we talked, we shared a little bit. We couldn't yell out loud. Guards were outside. We were isolated. We weren't allowed to talk, and we would spell out words by writing on our hand. He told me he'd gone through the ropes torture, terrible torture. If I had a picture, I would show you, but just let me tell you, the elbows are tied behind your back, your knees and legs are tied, and one guy's pulling and one guy's pushing your arms over your shoulders with your elbows tied until everything starts tearing away in here. And nobody was able to resist that indefinitely. They could make you do something. And Reisner said, culture, neon lights, how important it is for the board to have a culture, the company to have a culture. Great organizations have a good culture built around commitment and ethical values. Reisner said, Lee, I'm in charge, and here's what I want you to do. Be a good American. Live by the code of conduct, 6 articles about being faithful to your fellow POWs, being faithful to your country, and not collaborating with the enemy. Live up to the code of conduct. Take torture to resist the enemy up to the point of having permanent physical or mental damage. And then quit resisting. Resist no more. Get ready and bounce back because they're going to come back after you again. Stay united through communication. Pray every day and go home proud. And that's the culture that he built, and it was totally supported by Stockdale and Denton. And they would occasionally, kind of like our Constitution, occasionally you have to interpret something that's come up, and they would interpret. If Reisner was locked up and totally out of communication, Stockdale stood up and took charge. In another camp, Denton was in charge, and they had the courage to take the torture, deny them what they wanted, give them something but was a nothing, and bounce back and keep coming back. And that's the kind of example we had. That's the kind of leadership we had. It was courageous leadership. And when you're a kid, you see that and you want to try to emulate that. You're inspired. You want to be like them. One of the things that I've learned, I've been a leadership consultant for 15 years. I'm passionate about leadership. I was sitting at a large Fortune 500 division, a large division of a Fortune 500 company with a VP of HR and some HR folks, and they were talking about some particular leader in this company that was having some real problems, and he was yell and scream people and throw stuff and cuss them out in the staff meeting. And one of the young people, and finally after listening to a little bit, the senior VP who was pushing 60, he said, I used to be like that. And they said, no way, no way. He said, yes, I was. I was that way because that's the way my leader was when I first came to work. My first leader was like that. So those are the habits I had until I learned better. So we learn from the example of others. And the power of an example is so important in leadership. Well, just to share just a little bit more about the POW camp and what these leaders did. That leadership came down throughout the camps. We had that common code of conduct. We had that common desire. And one of the things that happened that they did for us was they built an incredible mission, vision, and value statement. It was all in 3 words, and it covered everything. Return with honor. We wanted to go home, but it had to be with honor. There's no honor without courage. If you're a leader, you're going to have to make tough, unpopular decisions. Courage will make the difference. Everywhere I go right now, I run into people and they know I'm involved with leadership, and everybody is bemoaning the state of leadership in this country. It's not a lack of knowledge. It's a lack of courage. People are afraid to stand up and do what they know is right. They're afraid what somebody else will say, or they make a mistake and they're afraid their mistake will be exposed, and so they cover up. It happens in corporations, it happens in schools, it happens in every field of endeavor. You have the courage to step out of your comfort zone and to do the right thing and to make sure the right thing is done. Your courage is needed. And you need to encourage everybody in your domain with courage, by your example. Jim and Sybil Stockdale did that. They remind us of the importance of one person and what that difference that one person can make. So the greatest lesson that we can have, I think, and the one word that's going to make or break everything we do as leaders, it's going to come down to courage.